Hi guys, I'm going to talk about how to stop worrying and overthinking about everything. I used to think a lot about different, like I used to worry a lot and overthink a lot, and my mind used to be very, very, very busy. Like this constant thoughts, this lots of thoughts just going through constantly, whole day. Like there was no pause, this rapid firing of thoughts, and I didn't think much about it. I just wanted to be able to stop worrying, you know. So this happened to me. It was accidental, where I was able to control the worrying and the overthinking. But this is how I'm going to explain to you how it happened. But it was an accidental happening. Okay, so Wayne Dyer, Jordan Peterson, and Ikotori, they have always spoken about you're having a thought and there's somebody observing your thought. So say you think, okay, I need to get to work half an hour earlier, and then there's a part of you that observing you thinking that, and then says that okay, so you need to get that part will suggest that you need to get an earlier train, or it might say, do you really have to go to work half an hour early? You know. So what they're saying is that there's a part of us, we're having a thought, and there's a part of us that also observing us having a thought and analyzing this thought. All right. So Wayne Dyer had suggested that you try to follow your thoughts so that you could know for yourself that there is you who is having the thought, and there's you who observing yourself having the thought. So I was trying to do what Wayne Dyer had said, to follow the thought. So initially it was very, very hard to do. So what he wanted to do is find the origin when you originally start a thought, and just follow the thought, and then when the next thought enter, when it start, and follow it through. So the example, this is the example I will use. There was somebody that I was upset with, and I didn't want to think about it because I thought about it already, and there's nothing more I could have analyzed or do. So in the process of trying to follow myself having the thought, it was a good opportunity to work on not worrying about that. So what happened is that I did it every day, every morning. I get up, I'll try to follow any thought I could pick up, right? And then one day I was driving, like I wasn't driving, I was the passenger, so I was in the backseat of the car, and I look out, and when I looked out, I saw this person who was tall and slim, and so my brain noticed that there's a tall, slim guy, and then my brain made a connection and say, oh, he looks just like that guy who you have the problem with. And then my brain started to connect, and then I started to think about the problem again, and then the whole part about the problem it came back. So I started thinking about the problem and all the issue, and then I was like, wait a minute, stop right there. It was my brain was having my brain was saying, okay, you're having a like I could make the connection now. I could see where the person I saw was just a person that triggered my brain back into thinking about it. Yay! Now I actually got the origin of a thought. Finally, I got where the thoughts start and where it's going, right? So I continued doing that over and over every single day. So it would be like, you look at something and you say, oh, that girl remind me of my friend, and then the thoughts start to escalate again, right? So after doing this for a while, I must see how long, maybe about a month. After doing it for about a month, I realized, wait a minute, I could stop every thought that I'm having just like that. I could just stop it. because it made everything so orderly. It made my brain so orderly. I suddenly felt like somebody who had a cluttered house and they got the house professionally packed, because every thought that was coming in, I was able to check the thought and decide what I want to do with this thought. All of a sudden, my brain became very orderly, and it's a very nice feeling when your brain, like, I didn't realize how chaotic my brain was when all the thoughts were just coming in. You could just say it when you see a thought start, because it's almost like before, it's like you just have open, it's like a house with no doors. So everything in and out, no doors, no windows. It's like all the thoughts in and out, in and out, in and out, total chaos. And now when they say you could observe it, it's like you have a door and the thought starts, and it's like you open the door and say, okay, you in. I don't have to think about you. You know, so it's like you now there's a kind of control and order to the thoughts. And when it comes to overthinking, if you could decide where the thoughts start, you could observe the thoughts starting. You could stop it, but it takes a lot of practice. It's not. I might make it sound like it's something quick. It took me. I literally was doing this every single day for a month, and whole day I was trying to get that point where I could. Yes, I know where the thoughts start. I get it, and where the thought end. So. But once you reach that stage where you could say, okay, the thought starts in here and it ends in here, you could do whatever you want with the thought. You could say to the thought, okay, I thought about this like from all angles already, and so let's not think about it now. And when you meet up with a friend, we can discuss it with a friend. So you could tell the thought, pause until I meet up with a friend who, like somebody who is, they could discuss it with you. And so that's the overthinking. And the worrying is a kind of like fear that things will not work out, or a fear that it's, so you could have the overthinking where you just keep thinking about the same thing and going in cycles. But worrying is like an additional of adding fear to it, like fear that the thing's going to work poorly, or it's not going to succeed. So in that case, you just say to it, you say to the thought that, oh, you don't need to, like, I don't need to worry about this, because there's like 3 outcomes, and let's choose the one that I'm most comfortable with. And you can think positive. So the other thing is that you have to make sure that you have enough nutrients in your body. Like a lack of certain nutrients could cause overthinking, and it could cause the worrying, because because a lack of certain nutrients could trigger like a fight or flight response. So I think like B complex and fish oil, and so the omega-3s. So you don't necessarily have to get it from fish oil. I think flaxseed you get omega-3 from. Making sure you have enough protein and enough carbs in your diet, so that, because what happens is that sometimes just a lack of a particular nutrient could cause your brain to start to overthink. So you always have to make sure that you have the nutrient, like the food part, your diet, that affects everything. It affects your entire body, including your brain, and your brain needs a lot of nutrients. And of course you need rest, because if you don't rest, your brain starts to it race because it's tired. So the brain is like your body. It needs rest. You need to go and sleep, and that's why dreams are important, because dreams sort out all the stress that you're having during the day that you couldn't sort. Dreams is like a release of the stress. So You need to sleep to get rid of the stress in your body, and that helps with overthinking. Also, you have to look at the input of data that you're receiving from social media, TV. You have, if it drawing your brain with an input of data, you're literally drawing in your brain. If it is staring at a screen from the time you get up until the time you go back, your brain did not get any rest. It's almost like you put your brain on a treadmill and you just have it going like that on a treadmill. So you can't do that to your body. You can't keep your body running for 16 hours non-stop. You could, but you'll burn out. So you're burning out the brain by constantly taking in data. So you have to have pause throughout the day, even if it's like a 10 minutes pause. So even if you look at a screen for like 2 hours and you take a 10 minutes pause with nothing, just tune into your mind and your thoughts and see how you're doing. That part is important, to have to tune into yourself and rest your brain. Because if you have to rest your brain, you have to give it up. You have to take these 10 minutes break personally, I take a lot of break from my brain because I need it. But I'll say 10 minutes, even if you take 10 minutes every 2 hours. So even if you're looking at a movie, you pause the movie and you analyze the movie, that is still a break. Like even if you think about the world, rather than just keep absorbing data and having data being sent to you. You can analyze the data that is coming in. So that is important. The other thing is affirmation. When you start to worry, you have to find affirmations. And so, like for example, when I now start driving, I was scared when I have to go on the highway, So I'll be like, I reach on the highway and I just fear, like I would overtake me with fear, which is like a bit of the worrying. So you have to find affirmation where you repeat to yourself an affirmation that you say that, oh, I am competent, I can do this, I have this covered, I was actually good at driving. I am good at driving, I'm a safe driver, I'm taking my time, I'm observing everything, I will be fine. So even if it just start to say I am a good driver, I'll be fine, and you repeat that over and over and over and over and over and over and over, that will stop the worrying. And any affirmation that you could get, that also stops the overthinking and the worrying, because if you have a thought that start to go rapidly, by repeating, what you're doing is just replacing the thought with an affirmation. So like for me, when I had exams, one girl had told me about this affirmation. It was actually a Bible verse. It's like, the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I was really frightened when I was doing the studying for the exam. And she said that she used to say that over and over to herself, and I started saying it too, and it calmed me down, because I was like, because it said I don't have a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I keep saying it over and over, and it calmed me down. So just find any affirmation that you like, that you could just repeat when the thought starts to dominate, because even when I say that you can have a lot of control over it, I found that in circumstances where the fear part, which is really worrying, if it gets too high, and which some people is also trigger anxiety too. If that goes too high, you need something to bring it down. So sometimes you just say an affirmation over and over and over, which is similar to when people say, take a deep breath, so that you could be in the present. You take a deep breath, you do the affirmation too. because the affirmation becomes, it cuts the thought, and it has to be something that you resonate with, that you say, you feel it, like you feel it inside you that this is true for you. So yeah. Okay, so the other thing, you don't want to be around people who is too, like, who's too negative. So I mean, I'm not telling you to go into la la land and be overly positive, you know, but there's some people who they are negative, like in the entire day they just say negative stuff to you, like the worst possible outcome of everything. That's the nature. They're half cup, half empty cup kind of thing. So they keep saying a lot of negative stuff, and you do people wrong, you do influence you. So it will eventually rub off on you, that it eventually rub off on you that their way of being negative and their self-talk will affect you. So you have to always be aware of who you have around you, because you don't want them to make you start to think negative and worry about stuff. Because that's some people, they come with all their worries, and they come to you and things that you wasn't even worrying about, now you're worrying about it. So you have to be careful about who you have around you and what kind of conversation they have, and what. So you have to be conscious of your environment. And the other thing is to go out into nature and observe the things that you hear, you feel, like the wind, how it feels against your skin, the things that you see, you know, like be present in nature. For it will help you to not think and not worry. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.